Mornings in Kokilimedu seem straight out of a picture postcard. Its idyllic setting is accentuated by the fishing boats that seem to toss around gently on the waves of the sea. The village too presents an image of quiet ordinariness, hiding the pain and suffering inflicted on these unsuspecting fishing communities 2 years ago. The tsunami hit the coastal villages of Tamil Nadu and the Andamans on December 26, 2004, destroying many families and their livelihood. The boats of the fishermen had been hammered by waves into pieces of driftwood, and their belongings floated like cork in the sea. Women suffered the most. The disaster left them devastated and vulnerable. The world responded with alacrity. There was spontaneous outpouring of sympathy. Aid began to come in from all corners of the globe. It created an aid overkill, the kind that had not been seen for a long time. But as it happens with all such calamities, the relief caravan moved over to another crisis, leaving behind a trail of relief material and clothes that seemed to be of no use to the victims of this great tragedy. It was at this juncture that Women Without Borders, led by its founder Edith Schlafer and its India representative Archana Kapoor, of Seeking Modern Applications for Real Transformation, or SMART, visited Chennai and neighbouring areas of Mamallapuram. Using their vast experience of working in different parts of the world, Women Without Borders got down to creatively weaving programs that helped surmount local resistance and age-old prejudices. More women suffered during the tsunami, as they did not have the physical strength or skills to run to safety when disaster hit these villages. Traditional beliefs prevented women from entering the sea or learning how to swim, as it was perceived as an act that would defile the sea. Women may not enter the sea to catch fish, but it is they who market it. They spend their morning hours ferrying the day's catch to the market. Hence, it was important to make these women mobile so that they could reach the distant markets at the earliest and get a good price for the fish. Women Without Borders bought autos for them and got trainers to impart them skills to drive. Driving came naturally to many women. It also empowered them in a world where only men made all the rules. Change cannot be sustained without economic empowerment of the womenfolk. It was important to make them self-sufficient. Small cooperatives comprising of 3 women each were constituted, and they were provided nets. These women leased out the nets to the fishermen and earned enough money to make a living. They now maintain their accounts and distribute the profits amongst themselves. Programs can succeed only if the community becomes a stakeholder, and this cannot happen without locals providing leadership. Women Without Borders organized a series of workshops to enable women to identify leaders amongst themselves. The interaction amongst women in these workshops brought to the fore their fears, their concerns, their expectations, and more. An important finding of these workshops was that the women were totally ignorant about their legal rights. So, a lawyer was engaged to conduct legal literacy sessions. Drunk men beating up their wives and running amok have shattered the peace of many of these coastal communities. Women welcomed the workshops that taught them ways to handle these difficult domestic situations. A few men also volunteered for treatment and were admitted in the hospital for de-addiction. It was an important beginning. All the relief and rehabilitation programs had ignored the plight of single women and widows. Kaniyamma was one of them. After her husband died some years ago, she had been sustaining herself by selling homemade snacks. The tsunami swept away all her belongings and left her at the mercy of others. Relief agencies ignored her, and for a while she had no means to survive.
Women Without Borders perhaps was the first NGO that talked to these widows to ascertain what they would need to improve their lives. Expectedly, they wanted an enduring source of income. Boats were bought for the widows to make a living by renting it to the fishing folk. Today, they earn an honest living by getting a percentage of the catch.
Limited access to healthcare in rural areas is generally associated with the fact that there are fewer providers. Health has been a major issue in the entire countryside. Most of the women have never visited a doctor. Apart from the new immunization camps, the children are also treated with home remedies. Women Without Borders noted that the majority of the women were anemic and men suffered from diabetes and other alcohol-related problems. Regular medical camps are being organized and the treatment is followed up by the field workers. For further treatment, medicines are provided free of cost.
For women, empowerment programs could only be successful with the inclusion of men.
20 young men have also been taught driving. This has provided them an alternative means of employment. Women Without Borders has also organized computer classes for both boys and girls. This not only helps bridge all kinds of divides, including the digital one, but also helps in meeting the demand for computer-trained personnel in the booming IT sector.
The creche-cum-nursery started by Women Without Borders in some ways is another innovation. Here, the children are taught motor skills through toys and games.
They're also provided nutritious food and snacks cooked in hygienic conditions. The nursery is the first step towards fulfilling the aspirations of the community to send their children to English medium schools. 20 children have been enrolled in the neighborhood school. The tsunami had devastated the physical infrastructure of these villages. Multi-purpose community halls have been constructed in both Kokilimedu and Venpurusham. These halls have a medical room to take care of basic health problems and a common room which serves as a reading room, library and internet-ready computer center. They will also serve the important purpose of marriage halls, quite a necessity in these parts.
Under the Take Your Future into Your Own Hands project, over 550 women spread over 23 villages along the coast have been provided training in different skills. The endeavor is to help women start small businesses and be economically independent.
110 groups of 5 women each have been formed. These groups have been given training in skills like making soft toys, wire bags, simple chemicals, plastic hammocks, plastic chairs, bags, spices, powders for curries, candles, photo frames, paintings, ready-made garments, hand and machine embroidered linen, besides rope making, roof making and shoelaces.
The effort of Women Without Borders is to not only provide help in upgrading the skills of the villagers, but also help them find a market for their goods. Many of the goods made by these women are displayed in the local market and through their own shops.
Rehabilitation after a tragedy like the tsunami is a long journey. The community has done well with the help of the government and NGOs like Women Without Borders to stand up and take life in their own hands. Today, they are more aware and are feeling empowered. The tsunami may have shattered their families, but it has given the survivors another chance to live their lives better. And they are doing that with great aplomb.